The next video or segment we want to shoot, we're going to talk about the openers and their components and how to adjust them. Opener adjustments may be necessary to match the desired seed placement and depth with field and soil conditions that you might be working in on your property. Proper adjustment of all parts of the openers is very important so that they can work together to do a good job of planting the seed for you. The first component we'll talk about is the gauge wheel and the opener disc. The second part will be the press wheel, which is this little wheel in the middle here. And the third part we'll talk about is the closing wheel, which is this one here. And then we'll talk a little bit about the seed boot, which is down here underneath. That's where the seed, of course, is deployed from. To begin with, these planter openers are 15 inches apart, but there's been several people ask me how wide they are. Well, each row is 15 inches apart, and you have 2 rows of openers, so they're actually 7.5 inches, not 6 inches like most people are used to, but they're 7.5 inches. The reason they put them in 2 rows at 15 inches apart is so that you can plant in corn stalks and not have to worry about a trash buildup. The gauge wheels control the depth of the seed in the furrow as to how deep and how shallow it can be. As the drill moves on, the gauge wheels pack the side of the furrow wall that is cut by the disc. It firms up the soil so that so you have a good furrow for your seed to drop in. If you raise the gauge wheels, it lowers your seed depth. If you lower the gauge wheels, it raises your seed depth. This is the adjustment for your gauge wheels. As you can see right there, it's really simple to adjust them. You can start with an adjustment at 1/2 an inch depth, and you can go all the way to 3.5 inch depth, and they're in 1/4 inch increments. So to make the adjustment, you just pull this handle up right here and turn it a 1/4 turn and push it back down in the next slot, and you do that until you get it set to where you want. Then you have to go along and do that to all of them. It's extremely important, and this is a caution to everyone. It's extremely important that you do not try to plant in wet or even slightly muddy conditions. The reason for that is because the inside of the gauge wheels right here will fill up with mud and get packed in there tight, and it will take you and or your hired man all day to take them all off and clean them out and put them back on again. It's not fun. The fellow up in Fruitland told us about that has a drill just like this, and he said they did that once because you know how people are. When it starts to rain, you want to try and push a little bit to get more planted. Well, you can't do that with this drill because it'll just pack these wheels tight with mud, and then you have to take them apart to clean them out. Now we're going to talk about the press wheel. The press wheel is this little wheel in the middle here. It runs in the bottom of the furrow, and the purpose for it, of course, is to press the seed down firm in the furrow, which will cause it to have a better germination process. This wheel has a rubber ring on the outside of it, and it's very critical that you pick up the drill, the bottoms, when you turn at the ends of the field for 2 reasons. Number one, if you don't do that, it will bend the discs, or it could bend the disc. Number two, these rubber rings will pop off of these press wheels, and they cost $50 a piece to replace if they break or if you cannot find them. So it'd be suggested that you be sure you pick up the drill every time you make a turn at the end of the field. The page references for this segment, for this video, are pages 20-30 through 32 in the manual. There is an adjustment on the press wheel too. It's up here in front. There's this little handle right here, and there are 3 settings on it. It's recommended for the soil we have in this valley that it stays in the middle setting. There's, like I say, there's three settings that you can put it on, but the middle setting seems to work good for this type of soil that we have in this area. The closing wheel is this disc-like wheel in the back, and of course the purpose for it is it runs along on an angle on the top of the furrow and crumbles the dirt, the soil down into the furrow and covers the seed loosely, which will not be compacting the soil and thus give the root zone and the seed zone plenty of room for the seeds to grow. Now the seed boot, of course, is down underneath, and that's where the seed is delivered to the bottom of the furrow, where when the furrow is dug, it can be positioned up or down to suit the machine and the field and the planting conditions. And there are 3 adjustments for that, and it suggests in the book that you stay in the middle adjustment on that also. Don't use the top hole at all. And there is an adjustment here for the closing wheel right here. If you're not quite getting the soil broke down like you like, then just set it down a little, or set it up and make a little more pressure on it to push it down more. Again, if you have any questions on this, they talk about this on pages 20-30 through 32 in the book. And if you can't find an answer, if you have a problem, then we suggest that you call the John Deere dealer in Fruitland, and they can probably help you. And that is all for this video.